Ever since paying $700 million to rename the Staples Center in Los Angeles and spending $100 million on not a Matt Damon movie, but a 30-second Matt Damon commercial for the Super Bowl, Crypto.com have had a really rough time. Their native Kronos token is down from 90 cents to just over 10 cents. Their Crypto.com rewards card basically dropped the whole reward side of things and now it's just a normal card. And now after 7 whole months, they've come across a refund accounting error to the degree of $10.5 million. So imagine this, you're a Crypto.com customer and you notice a small error on your account. They've accidentally overcharged you $100 on one of your trading fees. So what do? You send them a little email saying, hey, I've been overcharged $100, please refund it. You wait a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, and you get an email confirming that you've been refunded your money. Fantastic. You go to your inbox, you click on the email from Crypto.com just to confirm, and kablam, you're a multi-millionaire. Instead of giving you back your $100 refund, Crypto.com have made a big boo-boo, and you've accidentally received $10,474,143, a very specific number, which I'll explain why in just a second. Before that, I want you to make a decision. What do? Do you A, email Crypto.com back and be like, hey, there's been a pretty big error here, please take your money back? Or B, do you rationalize that they're a massive company who can afford $100 million on an ad from Matt Damon and they'll never notice this $10 million is missing and you probably deserve it anyway? Well, Miss Manivel, the recipient of this erroneous refund, decided B, that she deserves to keep it. And not just keep it there in the Crypto.com account and maybe wait a few years to make sure they don't know it's there. She decides to withdraw it and share it with her friends and family. Miss Manivel goes full Wolf of Wall Street. $10.1 million had already been moved to a different joint account and $430,000 had been transferred to her daughter, Ravina. Miss Manivel then went on to gift the money to 6 other people, including family members such as her daughter and her sister. The largest and most lavish purchase that Miss Manivel made was a multi-million-dollar mansion in the wonderful suburb of Craigieburn, Australia. And this is where things may get a little out of control because I happen to be from Melbourne, Australia, where Craigieburn is. And all these news headlines are saying it's a multi-million-dollar mansion with a gym and a home cinema, when in reality, it's just another average house in what I would call another average outer city suburb. Not exactly the most lavish choice. And in fact, it's not $1 million mansion after all, because according to realestate.com, this multi-million-dollar mansion was sold for just $1.3 million. And that might sound like quite a bit, but have you seen inflation these days? This house price is not that much more than the average price in the States. So maybe Miss Manivel didn't go full Wolf of Wall Street, but just decided to share this windfall or this sort of like lottery win with her friends and family and her close ones to try and improve the quality of their lives. Of course, still frowned upon, not her money, but it's better than blowing it on hookers and cocaine. Now, 7 months later, Crypto.com decided to run through some numbers around Christmas time, just doing a little accounting, and they discovered they were missing $10 million. Now this makes me ask a question. I wonder what amount they wouldn't have discovered and gone after. Of course, if it was a 50-cent error, they'd leave it. A $200,000 error, maybe they'd leave that as well. Maybe they wouldn't notice or they just don't know where it went. But $10 million was obviously big enough to chase down legally. And before we get into exactly how they chased it down, how did this occur in the first place? How do you send $10 million to someone? Well, the rumor is that the person in charge of processing the refund accidentally entered Miss Manivel's account number into the dollar amount section of the refund form instead of the $100 that she was supposed to enter. Okay, so this is where things get really interesting and sort of fuzzy. Is Miss Manivel actually entitled to this money that was sent to her? It is crypto after all, and if you went and sent a random $1 million to some random Bitcoin address, you'd have a hard time getting that back, whether that's logistically or even legally. I mean, in 2018, there was a case in Korea where a Greek investor accidentally sent a Korean man 200 Bitcoin worth $1.25 million. The Greek man went on to sue the Korean man and actually won initially in court, but it got appealed and went to the Supreme Court and actually got overruled, as the Supreme Court did not see Bitcoin as a property and the relationship between the two parties in the transaction to be insufficient to qualify for misappropriation. The investor was found not guilty of both, meaning he got to keep the $1.25 million that was mistakenly sent to him. Now, unfortunately, Miss Manivel decided not to show up for her court date, which is probably the biggest mistake you can make, because essentially the judge ruled against her because she wasn't there to defend her side. Because Miss Gangadori was not represented in court, the judge added that she has not responded to any of the correspondence from Crypto.com's solicitors, and the effect of not filing an appearance is that allegations in the statement of claim are taken to be admitted. And now the outcome is still a little fuzzy, and there's lots of different news sites reporting that she has to pay back different amounts. The one that sounds most accurate is she has to sell her house, pay back the $10.4 million in full, including a 10% interest, which somehow over 7 months becomes $27,369.64. Probably the worst case scenario for Miss Manivel. Now, a lot of people over on the Reddit thread are saying, imagine if this was the other way around. Imagine if you accidentally sent Crypto.com $100,000 and you didn't realize for 7 months. Not only would you probably have a tough time getting that back out of their accounts and having them go logistically through it all and refunding it back to you, but you'd have an almost impossible time having them pay interest on that. But maybe if you took them to court and sued them for the interest, you might get the same outcome. But that leads us to the most important question. What should she have done with this money? Surely there's some things you could do ethically and obviously non-ethically that could make a lot of profit. So inspired by a Reddit thread, here are 5 profitable ideas of what she could have done with the $10 million in order from most ethical to least ethical. Level 1, call up Crypto.com, give back their money and ask for a reward. Maybe you'll get $1,000, maybe you'll get $10,000, maybe you'll get absolutely nothing. This is the most ethical, probably most moral way to do it, and you'll probably end up with $0. Level 2, take your $10.4 million and keep it on the Crypto.com platform. Go over to their staking protocol and actually stake it for an 8.5% APY on stablecoin. Why stablecoins? Because if the Crypto.com token crashes, which it did, you don't want to lose all their money. Now, you don't take the interest over 7 months because it took an even longer time to get it back. They noticed after 7 months, but she got a full year before she was ordered to give this money back. That would give you a profit of about $1 million. Now, sure, they have a right to take that $1 million back, but you just got to sit there and hope that they don't. We're not trying to steal it. Well, I guess these next 3 levels are trying to steal it, but these 2 are the most ethical. And I probably find myself doing either level 1 or level 2. But level 3, a lot of people on Reddit say you should lose it all and declare bankruptcy. Because just like Voyager or Celsius, who seem to be able to hold other people's money only because they've mismanaged the funds, Miss Manivel should have gambled it away or hidden it in gold and cash and untraceable assets, so when she declared bankruptcy, they couldn't actually repo her house or other assets that are still worth money. Now, this is insanely illegal, probably end up in jail if you ever get caught, and she'll probably be dragged through court for the rest of her life. So not the most ideal outcome, but that was a suggestion on Reddit. Level 4, an interesting plan. Because Miss Manivel split up these payments and gave them out to friends and family, Crypto.com actually pursued these friends and family in court. Why? Because they had their money. So there was an interesting idea, and I'm not sure if it would have worked or not, but you could have actually taken this $10.4 million and sold it to somebody else, maybe some shady debt collector or some shark loan guy who wants to take this litigation on. Maybe he would have paid 500 grand, you would have pocketed the 500 grand, and he would have had to deal with anything that Crypto.com after. There might be a few holes in that plan, but food for thought. And lastly, the craziest, most degenerate, least ethical suggestion out there, go full crypto queen. If you don't know who Crypto Queen is, she's the founder of a pyramid scheme called OneCoin. Her brother just got sentenced to about 90 years in jail, and she's gone missing because she stole $4 billion. She's also been missing for about 5 years, and the authorities think she's somewhere in Frankfurt, but the $4 billion is really helping keeping her hidden. Of course, $10 million is very different to $4 billion, so good luck staying hidden out there, but it would be hard for Crypto.com to track her down if she could disappear internationally. Again, highly not recommended. I want to know what you would do in this situation. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.